Hello everyone and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan. Thank you for coming to the channel. So over the last couple months I had a dialogue with a representative from the Northfin company. They're a fish food manufacturer in Canada, and I had asked if I could maybe have a few samples to try out in my fish room. And they obliged me and sent me a nice care package with various options from their fish food arsenal. And this is what we're looking at right here. This is just some of them. They basically have an offering for all your fish needs. What we're looking at here is a community pellet, a fry starter, some wafers, cichlid food, and then here is krill flakes. And they also have they have an insect variant, kind of like bug bites, and they have flake foods in all of these varieties and different sizes. They're comparably priced to medium higher end fish food. They're not exorbitantly priced by any means. I was blessed to get what we're looking at here for free, and I felt that compelled to talk about it in this video. I've been using some of these foods in my fish room for the last couple months in conjunction with my usual arsenal. Now and let's look. There's my display tank. We're not in the fish room now. We're in my dining room where that gorgeous display is. And I've been using some of the bigger food offerings in there. Obviously not fry starter, but certainly krill flakes, and certainly the wafers for my bottom feeders, all the plecostomus in there. A couple things to note. When I spoke through email with a representative from the company, they were adamant at not doing a side-by-side comparison to some classic fish foods. I'm thinking Cobalt, Extreme, and some of the big box store fish foods as well. They mentioned Walmart. And the reason they said not to compare their food to those foods is because Northfin doesn't use fillers in the same way that those other brands do. They don't use soy to jack up the protein. They don't use rice bran or wheat bran. And the dialogue that I had with their representative told me that basically fish farms, when they're trying to fatten up their trout and stuff like that, they will use those heavier filler materials to get their fish fatter faster, or fill them up, or cut costs. Probably a bit of all of that. And Northfin is more tailored to a hobbyist, because these fish foods contain higher all-natural protein and less junk. That's not the word that the rep used, but just for the sake of this video, they don't use some of the compromised filler materials that you might find in fish foods that I have bought and used continuously. I use the Extreme brand, and my fish seem to love it, and but they also love this stuff too. There's no question about it. I've been using Extreme krill flakes, and this is their version of it. And so all the fish foods I've been using, they have a version of it, and they all work just fine. And what I want to talk about is some of the key differences beyond just not using some of that filler material. In general, Northfin fish foods are higher in protein by a couple percentage points than the other fish foods off the shelves in your local fish store. I'd say the lowest amount of protein you will find in a Northfin product is at 40%, and the fry is close to 50. I think it's 48%. And those are the numbers that we want in this hobby for sure. And other brands do deliver it, but Northfin brings it with higher quality fish meal and other means by which to elicit that nice number for the protein. So that's a key, and I found it to be true. Now, rather than just dump some of this food in the tank and watch the fish eat it, I wanted to just talk turkey, actually talk fish, but be frank about some of the things you always see when you're talking, when you're watching reviews for fish food, is my comrades will dump some food in, their fish will go nuts for it. Sometimes they don't. And I always thought that was a bit misleading because fish will eat crappy food. I mean, they will go absolutely bonkers for live adult brine shrimp, but anyone kind of knows that that's just, those are potato chips, living potato chips. They don't have much nutritional value. And likewise, if I dump Tetramin or a big box, or something from, say, Tetra brand fish foods, or things that you might find in Walmart or Petco or PetSmart. I'm just changing the visual here. Your fish are gonna go nuts for it pretty much, especially things like rainbow fish or cichlids. These are aggressive, hungry fish. In some respects, feeding fish food and then making an evaluation by how much they eat is sort of like throwing a bunch of junk food on a coffee table in a room full of stoned teenagers. They're gonna go crazy over it. That doesn't mean the fish food is good. That doesn't mean that what the teenagers are eating is good. It just means they're chowing down on it. So, with Northfin products and others too, it's not always the feeding response that is important. Now, some fish, if they're not going to eat a big like bug bites, which I love, and Northfin has a version of it, but I've been true to the bug bites brand forever and a day. But the granules are just simply too big for small tetras and rasboras, and they might pick at it or try to eat it, but it falls to the bottom of the tank, and then your bottom feeders get it. And so I was glad when Bug Bites introduced, nano size, and I still have to crush it with my fingers. So getting a feeding response in a fish food review, on YouTube is, I don't want to say, it's not bogus, because what else are we supposed to look at? Right now, I'm not feeding my fish, but I'm talking about fish food. But that's because if I put fish food in there, they're going to eat it pretty much no matter what. Especially when there's competition like you have in a fully stocked tank. Everybody's gonna wrestle for the morsels. It's their natural instinct to get there first and get there faster and eat as much as possible. So any fish food, the cheapest, crummiest fish food, is going to get devoured by your fish, but it in no way represents whether that's a good fish food for you and for your aquarium fish. I feel like I've just drifted into redundancy with all that, so I beg your pardon. But my finding has been Northfin does deliver a bit more protein across the board, that it's derived from better sources across the board, and that my fish seem to eat it as well as anything else I have in my fish room. And I've already talked about why that's kind of, apples to apples, doesn't mean anything. But if you want a comparably priced fish food made in the Great White North in Canada, where they know a lot about fish, and you don't have to pay, more or a premium for premium fish food, then I'm thinking Northfin's a great option for you, as it has been for me. And so I don't know if this has been helpful or not, but I felt compelled to talk about it because I did receive this lovely care package, and I have been using it over the last couple months, and I do and can report about the ingredients and some of the general talking points that we've just covered. Okay, everybody, as always, keep your hands in the tank, and ciao for now.